In the vast and silent expanse of space, the Andromeda Galaxy shimmered like a collection of scattered diamonds against the infinite black canvas. On Xyloria, a verdant planet orbited by two luminous moons, the mood in the Xylorian Council was one of contemplative urgency. As a species known for their serene diplomacy and advanced astronomical technologies, the Xylorians prided themselves on their understanding of the cosmos. Yet recent data from their long-range sensors had stirred a palpable tension in the air. The council chamber, a wide, dome-shaped room lined with bioluminescent plants, was filled with members from various sectors, science, military, diplomacy, all gathered to discuss the alarming signals intercepted from a remote arm of the Milky Way galaxy. On the main holographic display, a series of erratic and violent bursts of energy were visible, stark against the backdrop of a small blue planet called Earth. "Esteemed members," began High Counselor Terene, her voice echoing slightly in the chamber, "our long-range sensors have detected not just random bursts, but patterns. These patterns suggest intentional and repeated acts of destruction. Nuclear tests, deforestation, atmospheric pollution, and widespread warfare among the planet's inhabitants." A murmur of concern swept through the chamber. It was one thing to observe natural cosmic events, but another to witness a species seemingly on the brink of self-destruction. The Xylorians, who had long surpassed such destructive phases in their own history, found the behavior baffling and disturbing. "We have deliberated on the potential threats this species could pose if their technology continues to advance at such a pace," continued Terene. "However, as is our way, we believe in understanding before passing judgment. Therefore, we propose sending an exploration fleet to this galaxy. Our mission will be one of observation and learning. We aim to ascertain whether this species, known as humans, are a threat to the cosmic community or merely in need of guidance and aid." The proposal was met with nods of agreement. For the Xylorians, every life form deserved a chance at redemption and understanding. The fleet commander, a seasoned explorer named Commander Yalek, stood and addressed the council. "I volunteer to lead the expedition," he declared, his voice firm yet calm. "My crew and I will take every precaution to remain undetected. Our primary goal will be to gather information and, if possible, establish a peaceful first contact scenario." The council members voted unanimously in favor of the mission, and preparations began immediately. The fleet consisted of 3 sleek vessels designed for long-distance travel and equipped with the latest in stealth and observational technology. As the ships readied for departure, a sense of solemn duty filled the air. Weeks later, as the Xylorian fleet made its silent approach towards the Milky Way, the blue planet of Earth came into view, beautiful, vibrant, but visibly scarred by its inhabitants' actions. Commander Yalek watched from the command deck, his thoughts a complex weave of anticipation and concern. What kind of beings were these humans? How would they react to the presence of extraterrestrial observers? And more importantly, could the Xylorians help steer them away from a path of self-destruction? Or was it already too late? As the ships entered the Earth's orbit, hidden from human eyes by advanced cloaking technologies, the Xylorians braced themselves. They were about to delve deep into the nature of a species that had somehow managed to survive its own brutal tendencies. They were about to discover the true nature of humanity. The Xylorian fleet, cloaked in the shadow of Earth's moon, initiated their surveillance of the planet below. From their vantage point, the Earth was a stunning mosaic of blue oceans, green forests, and swirling clouds. Yet, the beauty was marred by visible scars of environmental degradation and sprawling urban centers choked with pollution. Commander Yalek and his crew were stationed in the main observation deck of the flagship, Zenithar, their eyes glued to the high-resolution screens that displayed real-time feeds from their advanced scanners and cameras. The data streaming in was both fascinating and horrifying. Images of vast deforested areas, melting ice caps, and smoke billowing from industrial complexes painted a picture of a species aggressively exploiting its home planet. "Zoom in on that region," Commander Yalek instructed his second-in-command, Lieutenant Sira, pointing to a particularly dense cluster of industrial activity. The screen flickered and enhanced the view of a massive industrial city, its air thick with smog. Record all data on their industrial capabilities and environmental impacts, he added. As the days passed, the Xylorians compiled comprehensive logs on human activities. They observed wars being fought over resources, cities overflowing with waste, and oceans tainted with spills and debris. Yet, it wasn't all despair. They also noted incredible acts of resilience, communities rebuilding after natural disasters, conservation efforts to protect endangered species, and global movements fighting for climate action. "Commander, you should see this," Sira called out one day, motioning him over to a different console. On the screen were live feeds of a peaceful protest in a large city, where thousands of humans were marching for global peace and environmental justice. "It appears there are many among them striving for change," she noted. Yalek nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Indeed, Lieutenant, this species is not merely destructive. They are complex, capable of both great cruelty and great compassion. This duality is puzzling." The crew continued their surveillance, expanding their observation to include cultural, technological, and social dimensions. They tuned into broadcasts, telecommunication transmissions, and even internet traffic, decoding languages and analyzing content. The diversity of cultures, languages, and beliefs on Earth was staggering, adding layers to their understanding of human society. In one instance, a broadcast of a scientific symposium discussing renewable energy solutions caught their attention. The Xylorians were impressed by the level of scientific inquiry and debate, noting the potential for technological synergy between their two civilizations. "We must delve deeper into their capacity for cooperation and peace," Commander Yalek decided. "Prepare the linguistics team. We need to understand their languages fluently if we are to make contact." Meanwhile, as they gathered this plethora of information, a hidden section of the Zenithar was preparing for a potential closer encounter. A small, advanced scouting pod, equipped with the most sophisticated cloaking technology, was being readied. If direct observation was required, the Xylorians would be prepared to deploy it at a moment's notice, ensuring that their presence remained undetected by the human population. The chapter concluded with Yalek and his crew reflecting on the paradox that was humanity. Despite their many flaws and destructive tendencies, there was an undeniable spark of potential for greatness. The decision loomed large over them, to eventually reveal themselves and possibly guide humanity, or continue their silent vigil, hoping humans would find their way to peace and sustainability on their own. The weight of this decision was not lost on anyone aboard the Zenithar, for the fate of two species might hinge on the outcome of their mission. User, the weeks of observation and data gathering had equipped the Xylorians with a broad understanding of human languages and cultural nuances. Despite the wealth of information, Commander Yalek felt an unsettling mix of anticipation and trepidation as the time approached to initiate a more direct form of contact. After much deliberation, the Xylorians decided to send a small delegation to Earth, hoping for a peaceful and controlled interaction. Their chosen landing site was a remote area in the Scandinavian wilderness, far from major population centers, yet accessible enough for a potential discreet meeting with human leaders if the initial contact went well. The delegation, comprised of Commander Yalek, Lieutenant Sira, and a cultural expert named Dr. Elora, embarked on the scouting pod, leaving the safety of the Zenithar for the first time since their arrival in Earth's orbit. As the pod descended through the Earth's atmosphere, cloaked and silent, the crew's emotions were a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Their mission was historic. Their actions could set the stage for relations between two vastly different species. The pod touched down gently in a dense forest clearing, blanketed in early morning fog. The plan was straightforward. Deploy a series of communication beacons around the landing site that would broadcast a message of peace in several human languages, inviting any who found them to a dialogue. However, despite their precautions, the very appearance of the pod and the unfamiliar technology it carried was enough to trigger a chain of unforeseen events. A group of hikers, wandering through the forest, stumbled upon the scene. The sight of the strange, shimmering pod and its occupants, tall with translucent skin and luminous eyes, sparked immediate panic. One of the hikers, equipped with a satellite phone due to the remote nature of their trek, managed to send out a distress signal before fleeing. Within hours, the area was swarming with local authorities, and not long after, military forces were mobilized. The message of peace, unfortunately, was lost in the ensuing chaos. News channels across the globe broadcasted sensational headlines about an alien invasion, stirring up fear and speculation. Inside the pod, Commander Yalek and his team were bewildered by the hostile reception. "We must retreat," he declared, as the sound of helicopters and shouting grew closer. "This misunderstanding could jeopardize our mission and the safety of both our people and the humans." But before they could launch back to the Zenithar, the pod was surrounded. Human military forces, armed and cautious, had set up a perimeter. Attempts to communicate were drowned out by the noise and confusion. In the tense standoff, Dr. Elora, who had studied human behavior extensively, made a critical decision. "Let me try to communicate," she suggested, stepping forward with her hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. As she exited the pod, her appearance caused a ripple of shock among the human forces, but her calm demeanor and clear, unthreatening posture gradually lowered the immediate tension. Using the human languages she had mastered, Dr. Elora explained their peaceful intentions and the purpose of their mission. However, the damage was already done. The world now knew of their presence, and fear overshadowed curiosity. The Xylorians were escorted under heavy guard to a secure facility for further questioning, their mission of peaceful outreach hanging by a thread. As they were taken away, Commander Yalek looked back at the pod, now under human control, and sighed deeply. The first direct encounter between Xylorians and humans had not gone as hoped, marred by a catastrophic misunderstanding. Yet he remained hopeful that this was just the beginning of a longer journey towards understanding, and perhaps, one day, friendship. Under the harsh glare of security lights, the Xylorian delegation was swiftly transported to a high-security facility designed for maximum containment and isolation. The location, undisclosed and remote, was buried deep within a mountain range, equipped with the latest technology to monitor and study extraterrestrial encounters, although its creators had never genuinely anticipated its use. Here, Commander Yalek, Lieutenant Sira, and Dr. Elora found themselves confined, separated from each other to prevent any coordinated attempt at communication or escape. The facility's command center buzzed with activity. Top military officials, government advisors, and a team of the world's leading scientists convened to determine the next steps. Despite Dr. Elora's attempts at peaceful communication during the capture, the human leaders were driven by a mix of fear, curiosity, and the instinctive need to protect Earth from potential threats. In a secure observation room, Dr. Elora was the first to be interrogated. The room was stark, fitted with recording devices and a one-way mirror through which a team of linguists, psychologists, and military strategists observed the interaction. Facing her across a steel table was General Marcus Davidson, a career military man known for his pragmatic approach to crisis situations. "Dr. Elora, if I understood your introduction correctly," General Davidson began, his tone cautious but not unkind, "your mission was one of peace." "Yes, General Davidson," Elora responded, her voice steady despite the situation. "We came to learn and possibly to offer help. Our civilization values the sanctity of life and the pursuit of knowledge. And yet you can see how your arrival could be perceived as an invasion, especially given the unexpectedness of your approach." Elora nodded. "We understand now that our methods may have been misguided. It is often difficult to anticipate reactions when cultures are so vastly different." Meanwhile, in a separate but identical room, Commander Yalek was engaged in a similar discussion. Though his interrogator focused more on the Xylorians' technological capabilities, intent on understanding the potential threat or advantage they could pose. As the interrogations unfolded, Lieutenant Sira was left alone, her thoughts racing as she considered their precarious position. Unlike her companions, Sira was trained extensively in escape and evasion. Quietly, she assessed her surroundings, calculating the likelihood of an escape, not just for herself, but for her entire crew. Back with Elora, the interrogation took a turn as she began to share insights about Xylorian technology, particularly their advancements in environmental preservation and renewable energy sources. Her detailed descriptions sparked keen interest among the scientific members of the human team who were observing behind the scenes. Outside the interrogation room, Dr. Helen Park, an environmental scientist who had been hastily brought in to consult, listened with growing fascination. She realized the potential for a groundbreaking collaboration. Against protocol, she requested to speak directly with Elora. After some deliberation, her request was granted under strict supervision. Dr. Park entered the interrogation room, her demeanor friendly yet professional. "Dr. Elora, I'm Dr. Helen Park. I specialize in climate science, and your discussion about environmental technology caught my attention. Could you elaborate on how your systems manage waste and emissions?" As Elora shared information about Xylorian environmental systems, which utilized advanced biotechnology to achieve near-complete sustainability, Dr. Park's eyes widened with the implications for Earth. This exchange marked the beginning of a subtle but significant shift in the facility's atmosphere, from hostility and suspicion towards cautious curiosity. Unknown to the military overseers, this conversation planted the seeds of what could become a crucial alliance, pivoting the Xylorians' predicament towards a more hopeful path. Inside the high-security facility, as the initial shock of capture began to subside, a clandestine collaboration was taking root. Dr. Helen Park, inspired by Dr. Elora's insights into Xylorian environmental technology, found herself visiting the Xylorian scientist more frequently, each session officially logged as further scientific interrogation, but increasingly straying into collaborative discussion. Their meetings became a confluence of ideas and possibilities. Dr. Park introduced Elora to Earth's environmental challenges, climate change, pollution, deforestation, and Elora detailed Xylorian solutions that were not only sustainable but restorative. These technologies included advanced bioremediation techniques, atmospheric purification systems, and energy conversion processes far beyond current human capabilities. The bond between the two scientists deepened, grounded in mutual respect for each other's knowledge and a shared urgency to help their respective worlds. Sensing the potential for a broader impact, Dr. Park began discreetly advocating for a softer approach to the Xylorian delegation among her colleagues and superiors. She argued that partnership could yield significant advancements in Earth's environmental and technological struggles. Meanwhile, Commander Yalik and Lieutenant Sira, though isolated, sensed a shift in their treatment. Interrogations became less about containment and more about understanding, signaling a change that Yalik attributed to whatever Elora and Dr. Park were discussing. Yalik used this change in demeanor to initiate his own dialogues about Xylorian culture, philosophy, and peaceful exploration, slowly working to dispel fears of alien conquest. Back in the secure meeting room, Dr. Park and Dr. Elora drafted a proposal for a joint initiative between Earth and Xyloria, focusing on environmental restoration projects as a starting point for cooperation. They argued that this could serve as a model for interspecies collaboration, demonstrating good faith and the benefits of peaceful exchange. Their proposal, however, needed to be presented to a broader audience, including top decision-makers who were still skeptical or outright opposed to any form of collaboration. The challenge was not just convincing them of the benefits, but also ensuring the continued safety and freedom of the Xylorian delegates. Dr. Park, leveraging her growing influence and the urgent need for innovative solutions to Earth's environmental crises, arranged for a closed-door presentation to key stakeholders, military leaders, top scientists, and government officials. The meeting was risky. It required bringing more people into the fold, each with their own views and agendas. On the day of the presentation, Elora and Park stood together, a united front. Elora began with a heartfelt explanation of her people's ethos and history, emphasizing Xyloria's past struggles with ecological disasters and how they overcame them through the technologies they now offered to share. Dr. Park followed, detailing the dire environmental status of Earth and how Xylorian technology could not only help, but potentially revolutionize human approaches to sustainability. The response was mixed, but more positive than expected. Intrigued by the potential for advanced technology, several military and scientific leaders expressed their support, curious about the practical applications and long-term benefits. Others remained wary, concerned about potential risks and the implications of alien interaction. Recognizing the delicate balance of the situation, General Davidson, who had initially interrogated Elora, proposed a probationary collaboration. The Xylorians would assist in a pilot environmental project under strict supervision. Its success would determine the future of their interactions. As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Park and Dr. Elora exchanged a hopeful glance. They had taken the first real step toward what could be a groundbreaking alliance. For Elora, it was a chance to prove her people's intentions and capabilities. For Park, it was an opportunity to address Earth's most pressing issues with solutions that were once deemed the realm of science fiction. The agreement to initiate a pilot environmental project marked a critical turning point for Earth's relationship with the Xylorians. The location selected for the project was a sprawling, heavily polluted industrial area on the outskirts of a major city, notorious for its poor air quality and contaminated water sources. It was a challenging test bed, but also a chance to showcase the effectiveness of Xylorian technology on a large scale. Dr. Elora and Dr. Park, now official co-leaders of the project, began the intricate process of planning and implementation. They established a temporary lab near the site, equipped with both earthly and Xylorian instruments. The Xylorian delegation, with the guarded approval of Earth's authorities, provided compact bioremediation devices capable of accelerating the breakdown of pollutants and large-scale atmospheric cleaners designed to filter and purify air over extensive areas. As the project kicked off, the world watched. Media outlets, previously fueled by sensational stories of alien invasion, now turned their attention to the potential environmental salvation at hand. The narrative began to shift, and public opinion followed. The sight of human and alien scientists working side by side, coupled with the immediate improvements in local environmental conditions, sparked a wave of renewed hope and curiosity about the Xylorians. The project's progress was rapid. Within weeks, measurable improvements in air and water quality were documented. Local wildlife, which had long suffered from the area's pollution, began to show signs of recovery. News coverage broadcasted images of clear skies over previously smog-ridden regions, and interviews with grateful local residents who spoke of breathing easier and witnessing the return of birds and fish to their habitats. This visible success softened much of the public skepticism and fear surrounding the Xylorians. Educational programs and public forums were set up to discuss the collaboration, with Dr. Park and Dr. Elora often speaking about the technology and their shared goals. The dialogue expanded beyond environmental issues, touching on cultural exchanges and mutual understanding. Amidst this changing tide, Lieutenant Sira and Commander Yalik, who had been more passively involved due to their confinement, were gradually given more freedom to participate. Their expertise in Xylorian technology and their first-hand experiences of Earth's environment added depth to the ongoing projects and public discussions. Yalik, in particular, used these platforms to speak on broader topics of peace, cooperation, and the potential benefits of interspecies alliances. However, not everyone was convinced or pleased with this budding alliance. Extremist groups, both human and alien skeptics from other worlds who monitored the situation, began to voice their dissent. They argued that the collaboration was a slippery slope to losing Earth's independence or exposing Xyloria to potential exploitation. Their rhetoric found a foothold among those who feared change or had vested interests in maintaining the status quo. As the pilot project neared its completion, plans to expand the collaboration to other polluted sites were drafted. The success had laid a solid foundation, but it was clear that the path forward would not be without its challenges. The Xylorians and their human allies prepared to address these challenges head-on, knowing that the future they envisioned could only be achieved through sustained effort and unity against adversity. The Environmental Recovery Project had started as a simple test, but had grown into a symbol of potential and a beacon of hope for what could be accomplished when two worlds, however different, decided to work together for a common good. As the pilot environmental project demonstrated visible success and fostered growing support among Earth's populace, not all were swayed by the promise of interstellar cooperation. In the shadows, dissent brewed among those who viewed the Xylorians as a threat to human sovereignty or as unwelcome interlopers on Earth. This undercurrent of opposition culminated in a bold and reckless move against the aliens. Kira, a young Xylorian engineer and a recent addition to the Earth delegation, became an unwitting pawn in this burgeoning conflict. She was captured by a clandestine group opposed to the alliance, intent on using her as leverage to halt the expansion of Xylorian influence. Taken during a routine survey of a new remediation site, her disappearance sent shockwaves through both the Xylorian and human communities. The news of Kira's kidnapping reached Commander Yalek and Lieutenant Sira, who were deeply involved in outreach and technological collaboration efforts. They felt a cold dread at the implications of her abduction, not just for Kira's safety, but for the fragile trust that had been building between the two species. Yalek, with his calm authority, coordinated with Earth's security forces, insisting on a joint rescue operation that emphasized diplomacy over force, fearing that a heavy-handed approach might spiral into violence and further endanger Kira. Dr. Helen Park, now deeply entrenched in the Alliance's endeavors, leveraged her growing network of contacts and influence to gather intelligence on the extremist group responsible. Information came through environmental activists who had noticed unusual activities around their areas, movements that matched the timing of Kira's disappearance. As the search intensified inside a nondescript facility, Kira faced her captors with a stoic calm that belied her anxiety. She listened carefully to their grievances and fears about the Xylorian presence on Earth. While some of her captors were aggressive, others seemed unsure, driven more by fear than malice. Kira, applying the diplomatic instincts she had honed during her time on Earth, began to engage them in quiet conversation, sharing her experiences and the mutual benefits of the Xylorian technology, hoping to sow seeds of doubt among them. Meanwhile, Dr. Park and a team of both human and Xylorian experts tracked down the location of the hideout. They planned a covert operation to extract Kira, involving a small, skilled team that included Earth's special forces and Xylorian security personnel, trained in non-lethal restraint techniques. The night of the rescue, the team approached the hideout under the cover of darkness. Using cutting-edge stealth technology borrowed from the Xylorians, they infiltrated the building without alerting the extremists inside. As they moved through the shadowed corridors, they encountered minimal resistance thanks to the precise and quiet coordination of the diverse team. Kira heard the faint sounds of the rescue team's approach and steeled herself for what might come next. Just as her guard started to question the noise, the door to her holding room was silently breached. Within moments, the room was secured, and Kira was whisked away, her relief palpable but tempered by the awareness of the delicate situation still unfolding. After her safe return, a debriefing was held where Kira recounted not only the events of her capture, but also the conversations she had with some of her more conflicted captors. This insight provided a valuable perspective on the fears and misconceptions still rampant among parts of Earth's population. The successful rescue of Kira, handled with a combination of human and Xylorian expertise and minimal force, served as a powerful example of the benefits and efficiency of their cooperation, reinforcing the project's legitimacy and dampening some of the criticism. However, it also highlighted the need for increased security measures and more proactive engagement with all sectors of the human populace to address fears and educate the public on the true nature of the Xylorian mission on Earth. Following Kira's dramatic rescue, the sense of urgency among the Earth-Xylorian alliance intensified. While the successful joint operation had bolstered their cause, demonstrating effective collaboration and the benefits of shared technology and tactics, it also underscored the real dangers posed by dissenting factions. These groups, although minority, were highly motivated and increasingly coordinated in their efforts to disrupt the alliance. Commander Yalek, deeply concerned by the boldness of the opposition, convened a series of meetings with Earth's security leaders and Dr. Helen Park. They strategized on strengthening security protocols around all Xylorian activities and personnel on Earth, as well as enhancing communication channels to preemptively address misinformation and fear among the human populace. In parallel, an intelligence task force was established, combining human and Xylorian resources. Their goal was to monitor and infiltrate extremist groups to gather actionable intelligence, thereby preventing any future incidents. This task force employed advanced surveillance techniques and cyber tools developed by Xylorian tech specialists, adapted to integrate with human technology. As these preparations were underway, the extremist factions, feeling the pressure from increased security and successful public outreach by the Alliance, decided to make a more aggressive move. They planned a high-profile attack that would not only sow fear and chaos, but also undermine public confidence in the Alliance's ability to maintain peace and security. Their target was a major international conference on climate change in Geneva, where Dr. Park and Dr. Ilora were scheduled to present the successful outcomes of their collaborative environmental projects. The conference was expected to draw global leaders, influential activists, and media from around the world, providing the perfect stage for the extremists to broadcast their dissent. The night before the conference, as security teams conducted their final sweeps of the venue, the intelligence task force intercepted encrypted communications hinting at the attack. The message was fragmented, but the intent was clear. Immediate action was needed to thwart the planned assault and protect the attendees. Commander Yalek and the security team decided to implement a discreet yet robust counter-operation. They increased security at the conference venue without alarming the attendees, integrating Xylorian surveillance technology that could detect unconventional weapons and explosives, even those designed to evade traditional detection methods. As the conference commenced, the security teams were on high alert, scanning for any anomalies. Dr. Park and Dr. Ilora took the stage, unaware of the potential threat, but confident in the measures put in place. They began their presentation, highlighting the tangible benefits of the Earth-Xylorian collaboration, showcasing restored ecosystems, and projecting future joint ventures. Midway through their talk, a group of extremists attempted to breach the venue's perimeter, armed with sophisticated hacking tools intended to disrupt the event's security systems. However, thanks to the preemptive upgrades and the vigilance of the combined security force, the intrusion was quickly detected and neutralized. The attackers were captured without any harm to the conference attendees or disruption to the event. The quick and efficient handling of the situation was later highlighted in media reports, further exemplifying the effectiveness of Earth-Xylorian cooperation. The incident, rather than instilling fear, bolstered public and international support for the Alliance. It demonstrated not only the capability of the joint security measures, but also the resilience and commitment of both Earth and Xylorian leaders to their peaceful mission. In the aftermath, Commander Yalek and the rest of the Xylorian delegation, now seen more than ever as partners in Earth's stride toward progress, used this incident as a pivotal point to reinforce the message of unity and mutual protection. This reinforced bond set the stage for broader acceptance and deeper integration of Xylorian presence and technologies into global efforts, marking a new chapter in interstellar cooperation. In the wake of the narrowly averted attack at the Geneva conference, public and international opinion solidified around the benefits and necessity of the Earth-Xylorian alliance. The successful defense against the extremists, combined with the persuasive presentation by Dr. Park and Dr. Ilora, created a surge of interest and support for expanding collaborative projects beyond environmental restoration to include technological advancement and cultural exchange. Realizing the potential for a significant shift in public perception, Commander Yalek proposed a bold initiative, a live, globally broadcasted forum where humans and Xylorians would discuss their technologies, plans for future cooperation, and, importantly, address any concerns directly from people around the world. The event was designed to be interactive, with individuals invited to submit questions in advance and during the forum, fostering a transparent and open dialogue. Dr. Helen Park, energized by the success at Geneva and the growing trust in the Alliance, worked closely with media outlets and educational institutions to promote the forum. She emphasized the importance of understanding and the potential global impact of the collaboration, urging people to participate with an open mind and a forward-thinking attitude. As the day of the forum arrived, anticipation was high. Major cities set up public viewing areas, and schools incorporated the event into their curriculum. Online, millions tuned in, ready to engage with the representatives from Xyloria and learn about the next stages of the partnership. Commander Yalek opened the forum with a heartfelt speech about the shared destiny of Earth and Xyloria, highlighting the challenges both had faced and overcome separately, and how much more could be achieved together. Dr. Elora then took the stage to provide concrete examples of technologies that had been adapted for Earth, including enhancements in renewable energy systems and waste management solutions that had already begun to show results in pilot projects. However, the turning point of the forum came during the Q&A session, when a question was posed about the true intentions of the Xylorians on Earth. It was a moment charged with tension, as this query reflected underlying fears still present among parts of the human population. Commander Yalek addressed the question directly, his tone earnest and transparent. Our mission to Earth was born out of a desire to prevent others from suffering as we once did on Xyloria. We see on Earth a reflection of our past challenges, and believe that by assisting you, we also heal ourselves. We have no agenda of conquest or domination, only a hope to be accepted as partners and allies in your journey towards a sustainable future. The response was met with a significant, palpable shift in the atmosphere both on-site and online. Comments and live feedback indicated that many felt reassured and more open to the possibilities of the Alliance. Dr. Park followed with a presentation of data from environmental monitoring sites, showing dramatic improvements in ecosystems where Xylorian technology had been implemented. This tangible proof of the benefits of the collaboration helped cement the Alliance's value in the public's eye. The forum concluded with a series of cultural presentations, including music, art, and literature exchanges that celebrated both human and Xylorian creativity. The event not only served as a revelation of the true peaceful intentions of the Xylorians, but also as a celebration of what two distinctly different civilizations could achieve together. The aftermath of the forum saw an increase in cooperative initiatives, with several countries and private entities reaching out to participate in joint ventures. The revelation of the Xylorians' benevolent intentions, combined with the visible successes of their technological assistance, ushered in a new era of optimism and partnership that looked set to transform the world in profound ways. The success of the Global Forum marked a pivotal moment in human-Xylorian relations. It catalyzed a wave of enthusiasm and optimism that swept across Earth, inspiring a re-evaluation of what could be possible when two civilizations collaborated on equal footing. This newfound partnership was about to enter an ambitious phase, guided by mutual respect and shared goals. Building on the momentum of the forum, a series of agreements were formalized between Earth governments and the Xylorian Council. These treaties outlined joint ventures in various sectors, including technology, education, and cultural exchange, establishing a framework for systematic, planet-wide cooperation. One of the first initiatives was the establishment of the Earth-Xyloria Exchange Program, EZEP, designed to facilitate the sharing of knowledge and resources between the two species. Under this program, Xylorian technologies were integrated into major Earth systems, particularly focusing on renewable energy and environmental rejuvenation, while human cultural artifacts, scientific achievements, and philosophic works were sent to Xyloria, fostering a deeper understanding of human creativity and thought. Commander Yalek and Dr. Helen Park co-chaired the inaugural committee, tasked with overseeing the integration and ensuring that both sides adhered to the principles of transparency and mutual benefit. The committee also worked to address any issues that arose, ensuring that the interests of all parties were fairly represented. Educational exchanges flourished, with Earth's universities opening their doors to Xylorian students and vice versa. These programs were complemented by virtual reality experiences that allowed students from both worlds to explore each other's environments and histories in immersive educational curriculums, enhancing empathy and understanding across planetary boundaries. The cultural impact of the alliance was profound. Earth's media industries began to incorporate Xylorian themes into films, music, and literature, while Xylorian art forms became increasingly popular among humans. This cross-pollination not only enriched Earth's cultural landscape, but also helped to normalize the presence of Xylorians in everyday life. The crowning achievement of this new era was the establishment of the Terra Xyloria Sustainability Project, TZSP, a joint venture aiming at large-scale environmental restoration of Earth's most damaged ecosystems using Xylorian biotechnology. The project's success not only revitalized these ecosystems, but also provided Earth with the tools and knowledge to prevent future environmental catastrophes. As Earth began to witness remarkable improvements in its environmental health and technological capabilities, the partnership also evolved to include joint exploration of space. The combined fleet of Earth and Xyloria crafts set out to explore uncharted territories of the galaxy, seeking new knowledge and encountering other civilizations, with a message of peace and cooperation. The closing event of the year was a celebration held simultaneously on Earth and Xyloria, featuring a live broadcast that connected the two planets in real time. During this event, Commander Yalek and Dr. Park gave speeches that reflected on the journey of the past years. They highlighted the transformation from fear and suspicion to collaboration and friendship, celebrating the unity that had become a cornerstone of their civilization's relationship. In his closing remarks, Commander Yalek expressed a hopeful vision for the future. Today, we stand together, not as humans and Xylorians, but as galactic citizens with a shared destiny. Our journey began with uncertainty and challenges, but it has brought us to a place of immense potential and promise. Let us continue to build on this foundation, exploring new frontiers together, and proving that when civilizations unite for the common good, the possibilities are limitless. As the celebrations concluded, the night skies of both Earth and Xyloria were lit with spectacular displays of lights, symbolic of their bright future. The partnership that had started with tentative steps had blossomed into a profound alliance, promising a future where together they could face any challenge the universe presented.